Hello everyone and welcome to this video. In this video we are going to be taking a look at Dragon Star Varnir for the PC. The game was developed by Idea Factory and Compile Heart and published by Idea Factory International. Dragon Star Varnir is a JRPG all about witches, dragons, knights and the end of the world. But is it any good though, and is it worth your time or not? Here's the details in the review. The game's story is about a time where witches and dragons are hunted down by the Knights of Requiem. Our story is about a knight who becomes a witch and then over the course of the story finds out that not everything that he believes in or taught is actually what it is, and it turns out that everything he was told turns out to be a lie. You'll spend your time uncovering the truth and finding out the secrets of the world and the mysteries around you and the dragons and the witches. The story itself is quite good, but there is a problem, and I will explain that later on in the video. The game's cast of characters are quite good, if a bit cheesy at times. Our main character is male and ends up moving into a den with a group of women. So this does end up being a little harem-like at times. This aspect aside, the characters are good and they do evolve over the course of the game, and that too can change for the better or worse depending on which ending that you are going for or which ending that you are given. I'm going to break the gameplay down into 3 sections for this part. The first part is that the story is mostly told via a visual novel method. If you've played Idea Factory games before, this really isn't nothing that new. The second part is combat, which is a bit different to what I was expecting. Instead of simply copying the same design that Neptunia games have, or like that of what we've seen before in games like Very Fencer, this one's a little bit different. In this game, you can only really move up or down in battle. Every battle is also an aerial battle, and never once done on the ground. The skill system is also different as well, since you can only gain new abilities by devouring your foes. In short, the combat is different from what I've been used to, and might take a while to understand. The third part is the exploration, which does start off well, but then all that changes once you get to chapter 4. Again, I will explain this more in detail in the environments part. Dragon Star Varnir's graphics are nice, if a bit plain and standard. They do look nice but don't really stand out or make your jaw drop to the floor or anything special. They just seem pretty basic, and it doesn't really feel as if they ever go out of their way to fully impress you, and if anything it kind of makes you feel like perhaps the game was made with a limited budget in mind. The graphics are nice, but that's all they really are. Okay, so here's a rather important part of this game, and what I was talking about earlier in the review. The game does start off very well with its exploration side of things. You'll be travelling around each dungeon collecting this and that, and everything is fine up until you get to chapter 4. Once you meet the little sisters, the game slaps a time limit on you, which will last throughout the entire game. This now means that you can no longer explore the game's environments or play the game the way that you want to. The game expects you to ignore all the items in each dungeon and avoid as many battles as you can. This is down to the fact that if you do any of this, this eats up time around you. The more time that you lose, the greater the risk that the sisters turn into dragons. And if you are going for the true ending, you cannot let that happen. Because of this time limit now being in place, you can no longer explore or play the game at your leisure, meaning what was once fun now becomes a tedious chore. If you're thinking about buying Dragon Star Varnir, I would say that it's best to hold off and wait until a serious sale comes along. The truth is that this game was an utter failure upon release and didn't do very well sales-wise. The gameplay mechanics and the time limit system turned a lot of people off, and the high asking price didn't help that much either. I wanted to enjoy this game, and I was, up until Chapter 4 came along, and the moment that the time limit comes into place, the game just becomes a race to get to the end of the game if you want the true ending or not. And this just kills any enjoyment that I had with it. If you can get the game cheap and find it on a sale for around about $5 to $8, then maybe it's worth it, but at normal asking price, I would have to say definitely not. Well, that's it for this review, guys. Thank you for listening, thank you for watching, and please subscribe.